Hello. In the previous video, we have discussed background of Charter of 1726. So today's topic of discussion is characteristics of the Charter of 1726 and provisions of Charter of 1726. So let's discuss the characteristics of the Charter. The Charter was issued by the Crown itself. So George first he had issued Charter of 1726 on 24th September 1726. The charter provided for uniform codes at three presidency towns. The new codes were Crown's codes, having been brought into existence by the Royal Charter. They were regarded as the court of record. The court of record means whose decisions are recorded and reported. So, Mayor Court was a court of record that already we have discussed. Now let's discuss provisions of Charter of 1726. So the first provision was establishment of corporations. The charter provided for the constitution of a corporation in each presidency town, that is Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. So the basic functions of corporation in today's scenario, you must be noted that they have to discharge the functions like public health, sanitation, then the conservancy. Conservancy means the preservation of natural resources, then the solid waste management, water supply for domestic, industrial, and commercial purposes, then the fire services, planning for economic and social development, then the regulation of land, use and construction of building, then the road and the bridges construction. So these are the basic functions of corporations which they have to discharge. Then the total corporations in India is 205 as per the available records. So the corporation consisted of mayor and aldermen. Aldermen means the senior and respected members are called as aldermen. So the mayor, as you might be knowing that he is the head of the municipal council. So, out of these, the mayor and at least seven aldermen were required to be British born English subjects, and remaining two were subject of any state or state having friendly relations with England or the states which were in peace with the England. Composition. The charter stated the first names of persons appointed first mayor and nine aldermen in Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras corporations. Second, it provided that the mayor will be elected every year by nine aldermen. The tenure of the mayor was 1 year. Third, every year the mayor was to be elected by the aldermen and the existing mayor. Number 4, an alderman was appointed either for life or for the term of his residence in the presidency town. That means qualification for the appointment as alderman was his residence within the town. Number 5 was the mayor and aldermen were authorized to fill up the vacancy post of an alderman from among the inhabitants of that particular presidency town. Number 6 was the governor and council was empowered to dismiss or remove the alderman on the reasonable cause. Number 7, the governor in council of each presidency town was entrusted with the power to make bylaws, rules, ordinances to regulate the working of the corporations and also for the better administration of the company's settlements. Number 8, The Governor General and Council was required to obtain in writing prior approval and confirmation of such rules, bylaws, etc. from the Court of Directors of the company in England. So, therefore, it is said that the Charter of 1726 for first time created a subordinate legislative authority in each of the three presidency towns of India. So, the corporations were intended to be autonomous bodies. Second provision was establishment of mayor's court. In all the three presidency towns, mayor's court were established. Composition of the mayor's court. The mayor and aldermen constituted the mayor's court. The quorum of the court to discharge the judicial functions. The minimum member of the courts were three. Those were mayor or senior alderman and two other aldermen were required to be present to form quorum of the court. The jurisdiction of the court, the mayor's court were declared to be court of record. Second, the court had civil jurisdiction only. They were authorized to try, hear, and determine all civil actions. The court had testamentary jurisdiction म्हणजे मृत्यूपत्रासंबंधी. The court could grant probate of will. Probate of will means the documents which states that the will is true. That is known as probate of will. म्हणजे मृत्यूपत्र खरं असल्यासंबंधीचं जे डॉक्युमेंट असतं त्याला म्हटलं जातं probate of will. Number 5, the court could grant letters of administration. That is, the court had power to issue letter of administration to the legal heir of the deceased person. Number 6, it was authorized to exercise its jurisdiction over all persons living in the presidency town and working in the company's subordinate factories. The court of record, the mayor court was court of record. The mayor's court was a court of record and its decisions were reported and recorded. Then the next provision was appointment of sheriff. The procedure of mayor's court was clearly laid down by the charter. Sheriff was an officer of the court and he was appointed by the governor and council every year. The sheriff was required to discharge the following functions. Number 1, to assist the mayor's court. Number 2, serve the processes on the parties to the proceedings. Number 3, to secure the attendance of the parties before the court. Number 4, to arrest the person and present him before the court to face the charges. Number 5, sheriff was also authorized to arrest and imprison the defendant. Number 6, to implement the decision of the court. Number 7, to attach and dispose of the properties and satisfy the recovery proceedings. The sheriff was required to actively help the court regarding the execution of orders and decree of the court. The application of law in the mayor's court. The charter was silent as to the law to be applied by the mayor's court. While deciding the cases, while deciding deciding the cases before it. The judges were English and the English law applied by them. Thus, the root of the English system became firm in India. Provisions as to appeal. And first, an appeal could be preferred to the governor in council against the decision of the Mias court. Second, the decision of the governor and council was final in all cases involving a sum less than 100 pagodas. Number 3, against the decision of the governor in council, further appeal could be preferred to the king in council in England if the valuation of the subject matter was more than one pagodas only. So, only in exceptional cases the appeals were allowed to the king in council. Limitation for appeal. A period of 14 days from the date of judgment was prescribed to file an appeal. Let's discuss the criminal jurisdiction, criminal administration of justice, and for this, justices of peace were appointed. So the mayor's court had no criminal jurisdiction. In each presidency town, there was a criminal court the for for the presidency town, which was consisted of the governor and five senior members of the council. So the governor and five senior members of council will have criminal jurisdiction and would be justices of the peace. The governor and the councillors were called as justices of peace. Jurisdiction of the court, that is jurisdiction of the justices of peace. Justice of peace, justices of peace were empowered to arrest and punish the criminals for the petty criminal cases. The court had the power of the court of oyer and terminer and goel delivery. So the court had power of the courts which were in England. Those courts were known as oyer and terminer and goel delivery. Second, the court had the power to try all offences within the presidency. However, the offences of high treason were not triable by this court. Treason means राजद्रोह. The procedure of the English court was adopted by the Court of Governor in Council or by the Court of Justices of Peace. Thus, the Court of Governor in Council had twofold functions, that is, to act as a criminal court and to act as an appellate court against the decision of mayor's court. Legislative functions. The provisions as to Next provision is legislative functions. The provisions as to lawmaking may be as under: the governor in council was empowered to make rules, regulations and bylaws. Second, the governor in council was empowered to prescribe punishments for offences. Number 3, such laws made by the governor in council were required to be in consonance with the English law. Means it should not be contrary to English law. It must be in consonance with the English law. Number 4 was the law was passed by the governor in council were required to be approved by the board of directors of the company in England. So it may therefore be concluded that the Charter of 1726 made the beginning of the important English ideas, technical forms and procedure of criminal justice into India. So with this, I have completed provisions of Charter of 1726. Thank you.